why did God invent economists? To make the climate modelers look good. And my point is not really to bash economists or social scientists, but quite frankly, we're not very good at predicting the future. If you look at the internet, the fall of the Soviet Union, we can start coming up with a lot of globe-changing events that we didn't do very well as a society or from a policy perspective at predicting. Climate sciences, I don't want to glorify them either. In fact, the theory behind global warming, we've known about, we've had this theory in hand since the 1850s. It's not new. We've gotten better with our computer models. We've gotten better at our understanding of the dynamics. But the basic science of greenhouse warming has been there. And I believe I can say with confidence, scientists are skeptics. We're naturally skeptics. And there is a consensus in the global community that there is a human and anthropogenic influence on the climate. Now, how much more science do we need? As we move further, we can predict in a general sense sea level rise, temperature changes. But as we start to look at predicting details of impacts in specific areas, specific sectors, if we think we're going to have that kind of prediction that takes into account ecology, climate, human behavior, global economics, we have no skill. And I'll say we have no skill. And I get funded to try to develop these sorts of models. And where does that leave us is what we have to think. It leaves us unable to manage or micromanage what the acceptable threshold of danger might be because we just don't know what it is. There's too much uncertainty, too much complexity. So it leaves us with a couple different approaches, and I think the first one is, frankly, common sense. We have to draw on what's common sense, to be precautionary, invoke the precautionary principle in our decision making. And we're talking about that, and we're doing that now. And first obvious step is mitigation, which we focused on more in the panel, which is preventing the source of greenhouse gases. But the pace that we're able to prevent the sources is unfortunately quite slow. And as we heard, it's going to be around a while till we can get at those wedges. The other option that's been mentioned, and it was off the table as an option for a while, was adaptation. And the bottom line, if we could magically stop all greenhouse gas emissions right now, we're still looking at problems. Okay, we still will have effects. These gases are in the atmosphere they have long residence times. So as we're making our current decisions in terms of the environment, in terms of building codes, et cetera, we need to make the environment as resilient as possible, protecting areas, providing job training in the human sector. These will only make us more resilient to the inevitable impacts to come. I think the other thing that we should be transparent and acknowledge from my perspective, it's no longer a science issue. We've gone as far as we can go, I think, in the climate science, again, for predicting. It now becomes a moral, a value judgment, okay? At the individual level, do we care more about our personal, be it wealth, be it comfort, or that of our future generations? And there is no predictive model to tell us how to make that decision. It's up to us, and we don't all share the same values, as we well know. I mean, on the firm level, this is a group with poder. And it's up to you at that level. Don't count on better science to help you manage perfectly what to do in the future. I think the warning is there. At the nation state level, it's a social justice issue with tech transfer being between the, quote, developed and developing world. Who's going to bear the brunt of the sea level rise and the other impacts that we know are coming down the pipe? It's not going to be the citizens of Florida in the same way, the same direct livelihoods way that it will be citizens of Bangladesh and other coastal areas. So again, we all have our individual moral compasses, and I don't think we can look to science to help us with that. I think it's up to us as individuals and as different societies, and that's not an easy path to negotiate, but I think it's the hard truth from my perspective. And it's encouraging to see groups like this who normally don't deal with these sorts of issues together in one place and hopefully taking a lead on from a household level up through a global business level. And I thank you for taking the lead.